Okay, cool. So, hi everybody, thank you for joining us this evening. I hope everyone's very well. I am Helen Mansfield, the MD of Encouraging Women into Franchising. Franchising is a fantastic way to grow your business or start your own business with the support of an established brand. So with these conversations, we want to get the word out about franchising and show how for women looking to make a change in their lives, franchising could hold the answer. Tonight, there's actually been a slight change to the schedule as Jo White, franchisor of We Love Pets, was due to be speaking with me. Unfortunately, she's been taken ill today, so she isn't able to join me. But I am delighted to say that instead we have a franchisee of We Love Pets, Tracey Alexander, who has kindly stepped in at the last minute. So thank you so much, Tracey, and welcome. Thanks for joining me.
My pleasure.
So to get us started then, I wondered if you could actually just tell us a little bit about We Love Pets and what it is that you guys do, what services you offer and that kind of thing.
Yeah, sure. So we are a professional pet care company offering services like dog walking, dog home boarding, dog visits, puppy care and pet sitting. And we've got nearly 50 franchises across the UK. We were established in around, I think it was 2008, 2009 by Jo White. And we've kind of grown into a really established brand and leading in the industry. So yeah, pet care.
Thank you for that. That's great. I think it's always great to just give a bit of context about what the business is that you own. So starting out then, talking about your own journey, if you could just basically share with us your sort of career path and how that sort of led you to finding We Love Pets and ultimately joining.
Yeah, sure. So I started off as a PA. I decided when I left school that's what I wanted to do, and I found myself in kind of various PA roles at director and chief executive level, and then ended up doing that role in a utility company, and ended up moving in at Thames Water actually, and then ended up moving into corporate communications. And I was there for about 5 or 6 years, and I found it was a really busy, demanding role, working kind of aligned with the operations team, and there was kind of a culture there of working late and taking work home, and I know the company has done a lot on that since, but I became ill, and at the time didn't really realise it might have been related to work, but it was kind of going on for about 18 months in and out of the GP surgery and having tests in hospital and things like that, and eventually I just decided to resign to get my health back on track, and that was probably the best decision I ever made, and I started doing a bit of freelance virtual assistant type stuff from home, which I really enjoyed because of my background, but I didn't really like being stuck in the house all the time because a lot of it was online, on online meetings and things. So I started doing some dog walking for our Reading West branch, which had just set up, and I found that I really loved it and really loved the feel of the company. So had a chat to Jo and decided to set up We Love Pets Reading East. So that was August 2014. So nearly 6 years ago, and here I am still today, into my second lot of 5 years with We Love Pets.
Brilliant.
And I think really for me, I just knew that I didn't want to go into a similar kind of environment, a corporate organisation again. I think it just, although I was capable of doing the role, it wasn't really within my comfort zone, and I think ultimately that's where the issue was. And this really just fits with what I'm all about. I just love the work-life balance. I love being outdoors. I love animals, and yeah, you've really got to love what you do, haven't you? So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people will resonate with that story as well, and especially during these times, I think there's lots of people that are rethinking about what it is they want to do. So, I mean, actually making the decision to leave the corporate job, that must have been that was a big step. So, do you think that was actually the hardest part of the journey?
Yeah, it probably was. It probably was, yeah, and I suppose financially, really. But I had always kind of toyed with the idea of wanting to set up my own business, and I didn't really know what, and wanting to be my own boss and not kind of just being stuck to the 9-to-5 office life. And so this, when I kind of I did sort of fall into it really, it just seemed to fit really well. And I didn't kind of research franchising as, because I was kind of always already in the company, I suppose, in the way that I would if I hadn't accidentally fallen into it. But I did to the point of needing to understand that it was the right decision for me. So I did do a little bit of that, and yeah, I guess kind of just kind of landed almost by accident into making the right decision.
Yes. Can you elaborate a little bit more then on that kind of decision making journey from I mean, once you'd left that business and obviously you did a bit of your PA work virtually, and then deciding to really go for it with We Love Pets, sort of what was going through your head? What were you feeling?
I suppose for me, although you obviously need to think about the kind of financial side of things, and is it going to work for you, and do the numbers stack up with the organisation that you're going to be going with, for me it was more about the culture of the organisation, and can you work with the people that you're going to be whose organisation you're going to be a part of. Because ultimately, if you can't build a brilliant relationship with the franchisor, then the value isn't going to be as great for you. So that was definitely there for me. I kind of understood where the company was going, and I had discussions with them about that, and I kind of it just sat well with me. The kind of the direction in which the business was going, I suppose. And if I was doing it now, I'd be looking at whether the company's with the British Franchise Association, have they won any awards, are they experts in their industry, and they're all tick boxes with We Love Pets. And yeah, it's just kind of grown from strength to strength, and that's the way I saw it going right from the start. I was only the fifth franchise, and as I said earlier, now there's nearly 50, and I've just seen how the company's grown from then till now, and it's just gone in an absolutely amazing direction, and it's just been brilliant to be part of the journey.
Yeah. So when you were initially sort of talking then to Joe and the team at We Love Pets, what were the stages that you went through? Because I imagine obviously you had multiple conversations. Did you go and speak to any of the other franchisees that they already had?
Yeah, so they were just readily available there for me to, I was put in touch with the people that were already franchisees. I think that's really important to find out how it's working for them, and it was really important for me to understand how they kind of feel about what they do, because I think that's the biggest thing for me is, are people happy? Do they feel they've got enough support? From the start of their journey, but not only that, ongoing through kind of setting up the business and then building it from strength to strength. And the support is definitely there with We Love Pets. They're absolutely amazing. So I needed to understand that was there, because I would never have set up a business on my own, not in a million years. That's why I never kind of took the leap, I suppose. And I didn't just want to take a business in a box. I needed it to be a bit more than that. I needed it to be, I needed that support to be there really, and I needed to know that there were people that were kind of successful and enjoying it. So yeah, those discussions were really important to me.
And then did you visit Joe and the team at sort of head office, or I'm not sure how far along they were with only 4 franchisees so far, but
yes, I did. I sat with Joe and and spoke to the kind of small team that was there at the time, and we went through the journey that I would be going through, so that I understood it and what I needed to have in place. And then the next step was then to go into the kind of the process of training, which now has kind of grown into our new franchisee training program. And I went through all of that so that I knew exactly not only how to kind of set up my business, but also how to provide the service and do it in the way that We Love Pets does it.
Yeah. Was there anything, any kind of like hesitancy or anything that you thought maybe you didn't quite have the skill set to run your own business, or anything along those lines, or were you quite happy with, you think you'll be supported really well to do it?
I think I felt pretty confident knowing that the support and guidance was there, I think, and it just really helps knowing that there's experts at head office in every aspect of the business. So business, pet care, legal, accounts, marketing, and knowing that you can have access to them at any point to ask any question, if it's a stupid one. That's really that was a big deciding factor for me. But I suppose it took a while to kind of really make the leap, but yeah, it's definitely the best decision I ever made. So yeah, it's scary, isn't it, going from employment and what you feel is a very safe job, and then kind of setting up something like this. But with the support there, it's definitely made it a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely. I think it is a massive decision, I think, for people to make, but I think it's probably one of the safest ways probably to own your own business, because you have got the support of the franchisor there. So yeah, it's a great way to take that leap, I suppose. So when you did join then, what happened then? What was the training that you went through? How did they implement that?
So it was a bit different then to how it's run now. But ultimately the same kind of content. So everything from your kind of setting up of your office, I suppose, your home office, and all the things that you'll need, and all the things that you'll need in your car to do some dog walks and practical stuff, to managing your accounts and how and what you should be asking of your accountant, to marketing. So head office, you get your own web page on the We Love Pets website, and they will do amazing whizzy things with optimizing the web pages and making sure we're appearing at top of Google listings and things like that. So that's wonderful. But also the support that you need to kind of get all your local marketing going, and offering sort of help with tried and tested methods, I suppose, of what works, what doesn't. So leafleting, going out and networking, taking a puppy into the local parks, and getting your name out there with your We Love Pets t-shirt on. All of those, and social media as well. All of the support with that, and what you should be posting, when you should be posting it. What have I missed? Oh, your team as well. So how to recruit your team, how to manage your team, how to reward your team, and training, learning and development of your team. So yeah, I mean, everything that you could think of, that there's covered in the training. And that's been one of my favourite parts of this, has been recruiting and managing a team that I want to work with. Because in my previous roles, although I've had lovely people that I've worked with, I didn't recruit them, and I didn't ask to manage them. And part of that I found really challenging. And it's just been really lovely to have, to be able to pick my team and know that it's people that I can trust, and they're committed, and they're absolutely committed to We Love Pets and wanting to make the business work. And half of my team have been with me for, well, ever since I started recruiting, basically, so 5.5 years, which is wonderful, and they're still doing an amazing job, so must be doing something right.
So how far into once you purchased the franchise, did you actually start building a team?
Well, I always say to people, I didn't do it early enough. It was about 4 or 5 months in. And really, when I look back, I should have done it straight away. So we really ought to be getting dog walkers and dog boarders in place pretty much as soon as we launch. So yeah, I definitely didn't do that early enough, and I found myself at a point where I was probably trying to do too much on my own and not having enough time to, focus on getting new business in and all the other stuff that a manager director should be doing. But yeah, so it was 4 or 5 months in.
So once you'd first started, then how did you feel? Like, you just bought this new business. Obviously it is a big step, but were you excited? What was going on through your head?
Yeah, really, really, really excited, because once you've decided and you've started, that's it. Then you've got to make it work. And it was just really lovely to kind of feel that it sounds a bit cheesy, but to kind of feel part of the We Love Pets family, because you're constantly in contact with all your local franchises. How are you doing? What would you do about this? And it's just, you just kind of, support along the way is amazing. And yeah, I was just really excited to get going and get out and see who else is out and about in the kind of local dog walking world, and see how everybody else is doing it, and kind of just wanted to get going, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, has there been any sort of skills that you've had to develop that you didn't know that you would do that? Like you mentioned, sort of like getting out there and networking and things like that. Like, some people might find that quite difficult, but was it anything like that you kind of struggled with, or?
Good question. I can't think of anything in particular. I think for me, the bit that I struggled with was direction, I suppose. So what do I need to be doing when, and when, how do I go out and about and network? What kind of organisation should I be talking to? And so that guidance was brilliant. I have absolutely no problem talking to people. I know some people might not want to go into a network meeting and do a 1-minute spiel on what your company's all about, and then find out how you can kind of benefit from all the other people in the room and share ideas and that kind of thing. That's quite daunting to some people, but I don't mind doing that. It's just kind of I suppose finding out what opportunities are out there and how it benefits my business. That was missing for me a little bit. I suppose a bit of direction. I didn't really know how to get going and where to start, but I was soon pointed in the right direction. So yeah, that was fine.
I mean, just going on to when we talk about the networking thing, I think having the passion for the business, having a passion for pet care and things like that, which potentially you might not have had for previous businesses that you worked for. So I think that can probably make a big difference as well in feeling more confident in speaking to people and pushing your brand forward as well, I think. So
yeah, absolutely. And if you really, I think it's going back to that decision at the start, isn't it? You need to absolutely know that you're the right person to take on the franchise, as much as the franchisor needs to know that that the new person that they've got taking on a branch is going to do a good job and is the right person in that role, because if you're not the right match, and if you don't absolutely love what you're doing and feel really passionate about it, then it's not quite going to go as well as it might.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good point. We touched on it on our conversation with Anne-Marie, who's did a dance franchisor that I spoke to 2 weeks ago, about it's basically a two-way relationship. So they're looking at for you as a potential franchisee, but obviously you're looking at them as well. So you've both got to really fit with each other and fit into the ethos that We Love Pets have. To make sure that you are the right person for that brand, and sometimes it's not always the case, but when the fit's right, it's it's really good. Yeah. So obviously we've talked a bit about your initial training when you first started then. So how did the training and support continue throughout the last few years?
Okay, so I suppose there's various kind of means of us getting support. We've got kind of system set up for being able to contact head office and on an email and say, look, I need some help with this, and there's that there, and they'll kind of farm the inquiries out to the right expert in the team if the people kind of answering them can't assist themselves. And we've got so there's the franchise, all of the other franchisees in the network, we're all on, we use Workplace. So we've got a couple of groups set up on there, so we're able to post questions or share ideas or ask for advice, and head office will contribute to posting there as well. So we're all kind of sharing things and supporting each other that way. We have ongoing training that's provided via our sister company, We Love Training, to kind of support our learning and development. We've got various webinars that we have, so it's just kind of a whole kind of package of various support, and different ways to access all the experts on our head office team. Whether it's a kind of in a more formal way in the sense of training, or webinars or conferences or that kind of thing, workshops, or whether it's just posting and asking questions, I suppose. Yeah.
And what about the other franchisees as well? Are you guys in touch quite a lot? And apart from obviously you said you were on the office, but apart from that?
Yeah, so we have lots of WhatsApp groups set up. So when people are either in kind of a local area or very close together, or they've been on their new franchisee training together, they're all set up into a WhatsApp group, and you can share ideas and support each other that way. But also people just pick up the phone. It's really lovely to be able to know that I can just pick up the phone to literally anybody and go, hey, I've just seen on your Facebook page that you've been doing this. I want to know a bit more about that. Can you help? Or just sharing ideas, or just supporting each other. Everybody's happy to help, and it does really feel like one big family. So it's really lovely to know that I'm part of that.
Yeah, that's really cool. Do you guys have like an annual conference, like a big gathering where you all get together? And
yeah, we have an annual conference, and then it's usually followed the next day by some kind of workshop. I think last year was a dog behaviour workshop, and various kind of workshops at that annual conference as well. So that's really useful, and it's not only lovely to just kind of get everybody in one room, it's also lovely to kind of have a bit of extra support on various aspects of the business, and workshops provided by our head office team. And then also we have a step up workshop, which is kind of focused on growing your business and how to kind of push your business to the next level. So it's kind of a step on from your new franchisee training. So you've kind of got, I don't know, 6-12 months in, and or even to 6 years in, actually, because it is still really valuable to me now. Just kind of support and advice on how to drive your business forward. So yeah.
Good. It's interesting to hear as well, I think, how it changes as well. So like you're saying, like there's your new owner training, but then also you still need training as you keep going and you keep growing, because you do enter different stages of the business growth. So yeah, it's really interesting. So how many team members have you got now that help?
Got 10 at the moment. So I've got most of those are dog walkers, and I have a dog boarder as well, and a house sitter. So yeah, a mixture of people, and they all kind of work a mixture of days and hours, and but that works really nicely because it's a balance across the team of availability, and they're a real mix of people and a mix of characters as well. but they're all really lovely to work with, and it's been really lovely, like I say, to have the kind of 4 or 5 people who've been with the team for quite a long time, and then you know, a bit of a changeover of other people kind of alongside it. It's a really nice mix, and yeah, it's a lovely little team. We were working together nicely, and that's one of the biggest kind of things that that I'm trying to focus on at the moment, really, is looking at how to train, support, engage the team, because it's become really clear throughout the last few months whilst we've been in lockdown, how important that team is, more than ever, because they're the people that are out and about in the public eye. I don't do as much dog walking now as I used to. I focus mostly on managing the team, and I just kind of dip in and out, and they absolutely need to be, you know, the face of We Love Pets and living the brand values, and you know, providing that excellent customer service that we say we provide. So yeah, they're my focus at the moment.
Yeah. Do they feed back their ideas and things like that often as well?
Yeah, we have team meetings, and I'm always asking them for ideas, because not everything comes out of my brain. It's got to come out of theirs as well. And then ultimately they're the people that are kind of providing the service and doing the job, and seeing the customers as well. And you know, if they've got advice on or ideas on how to do things better, or you know, whatever it might be, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So how have you found, I know obviously you did manage a team of people beforehand, but now it's slightly different, because like you say, you are the leader really of this business and you're managing this team. How have you found that?
Amazing, but also challenging, because you know, managing people always has its challenges, and yeah, I guess I was just trying to think kind of what's the most challenging part of it. I think it really is the sort of engagement part of it, because it's very easy to recruit somebody who just wants to you know, go out and walk a dog, but actually anyone can do that. We want to do it in the We Love Pets way, and I need them to all understand that you know, customer service and the way that we walk a dog is, you know, has to be done in a certain way, and I need them to all you know, absolutely love what they're doing. So yeah, it's kind of instilling that passion and enthusiasm in the team that I have, which it seems to be working. So
Good. So just tell me a little bit then about your work-life balance. So obviously I assume when you first started the business you were really heavily involved in running it, and then has that changed over the last few years?
Yeah, it's changed. Yeah, definitely changed. So yeah, like I said, I don't tend to do too much walking and pet sitting myself now. I definitely rely on the team to do that. Whereas yeah, in the first, especially those 4 or 5 months when I hadn't recruited, I was doing it all. So it's changed loads, and but really throughout, the work-life balance has been so different to how it was in my old role, and that's really why I'm here, because I needed something to change, and I needed to not be taking my laptop home and, you know, and then getting into the office to do stuff early before the meeting started, and it was just too much. And the lovely thing about this, and don't get me wrong, it's hard running your own business, and you are always on, because it's your own business, and the phone's, you know, it's going now, but it's different because I love what I do. I've got people there to support me. I've just taken on somebody to help with my admin and a bit of the managerial stuff as well, so I've got 11 people actually, not 10, and it's just been different. Yeah, so yeah, it's made a big difference to my health as well. Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic. I think I've had some kind of personal challenges in my personal life over since joining We Love Pets. My mum passed away, and my nan was then poorly and passed away, and I don't know how I'd have coped with that as well If I'd been in my old role, it would have kind of all gone a bit pear-shaped. And then since then I've had little William, so I'm now running this business with a 3-year-old, and it just, it's enabled me to deal with all of that, and then to have family life as well, and it all works together really nicely.
Yeah, it's so important to have that time. So that's great. So do you think, has owning your own business allowed you to do things that you don't think you would have been able to do otherwise? Big question.
I don't know. Probably. It really is just that kind of doing things on your own terms, I suppose. And I do work in the evenings, and I go and visit customers in the evenings, and things like that. But that's because it suits me. I suppose I do things. That's what it's all about, really. It's doing things on my own terms, and doing things because I want to do them, not because I have to do them. That I mean, it's very general, but that's the thing that's kind of worked best for me, I suppose. I'm driving things now rather than someone else.
Yeah, it's for you and not for somebody else. So yeah, like you said, you can choose your own hours, I suppose, can't you? So you might work evenings, but if that works for you once your son's gone to bed and things like that, then that's why it works.
Yeah, absolutely. It's much more flexible. It's a much more flexible way of going about life, or it is for me anyway. So it's been brilliant.
So what do you think are the big benefits then, I suppose, of being part of a franchise, just in general, but then I guess as well, as opposed to doing it on your own? I guess, I don't know whether you guys get it, but a lot of sort of objections, I suppose, to franchising is that, well, I don't need to join a franchise because I can start my own business. And so what would you say to those people that say that? Why should they join a franchise?
Well, for me, it's kind of, you've got it's like I said earlier about the business in the box thing. It's there, ready. The templates are all kind of there for you to use, and the business model is clearly successful, and you're using methods, and the way you're working, and the kind of model that you're following has been tried and tested, I suppose. And you're not gonna, if you're doing it on your own, there'll be an element of making your own mistakes to start with and learning from them, and there is always that in business, but there's less of that, I think, with franchising, because it's all been done before, and what you're taking on works. You're also part of an established brand, and with We Love Pets, we're leading in the industry, and we're all benefiting from that brand that's there around us. Head office are also always future-proofing the business. So October 2018, for example, the new animal welfare regulations came in, and blimey, I wouldn't have wanted to deal with that on my own. They were on top of it immediately, and putting all the kind of documentation, policies, procedures into place that impacted the way we do dog boarding and the way our licensing inspections. I'm just going to click something off the screen because it's popped up. Sorry. There we go. It affected the way we're licensed and how we operated dog boarding, as an example. And the support that was there, and the kind of all the documentation and stuff that was needing to support it was there and ready and available, and kind of the advice and support from head office at that time was really, really helpful to be able to get our heads around it. Because if you sit and read the regulations, they're like, I don't know, 100 pages or something. And to digest all that on my own, I don't know where I wouldn't have got my head around it, I don't think. So that as an example, being on top of changes in legislation, constantly future-proofing the business to make sure that our service is, you know, going to be running into the future. Yeah, that's really important for me.
Yeah, definitely. I think, is there any other examples of things like that where the franchise has really sort of helped out? I think legislation is a great one. That's so true in so many industries, where, like you say, you'd have to sift through a lot of information to try to get what it is you actually have to do.
Yeah.
So having them do that is a brilliant help.
That's one of the biggest ones. But I suppose, I mean, blimey, we're in the middle of a global pandemic at the moment.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to come on to that topic in a bit.
I mean, we can talk about that in a bit, but that's one of the, you know, we could never have anticipated that in a million years, and the support that we've had throughout it has just been, you know, absolutely amazing. I can't fault it.
Well, let's go into it.
Okay. Yeah, so obviously COVID-19 hit, and from before lockdown, the support that we've had from head office and the timeliness of everything has just, I'm still in awe of it. I actually can't quite believe how they've as a small head office team kind of managed to keep us all motivated, driven, and all going. So it started off with making sure that we had the right kind of pet care policy in place and following the right hygiene procedures and all the things that, you know, we need to do, hand washing and all that kind of thing. So how do we actually provide our service, and providing kind of assets and guidance and documents that we can share with the team, each of our teams, to kind of help them understand what they need to do. Right to the next step, which was when kind of lockdown hit, and then a lot of us we either decided to kind of halt our services for a little while, or some of our branches continued to support frontline workers and vulnerable people, who, you know, people who really needed dog walking, basically, so that we weren't out there doing kind of unnecessary work, I suppose. And that was, it was almost a bit of a shock. We all kind of saw it coming, I suppose, to some extent, but it's just a bit scary. And to suddenly have, you know, 30, 40, 50 dog walks a day, to either none or not very many, and you can see, you can't see an end to it because it was all very uncertain, and still is. And a head office kind of just, I don't know whether consciously, but they just kind of took this situation and have turned a crisis into an opportunity, I suppose, is in a nutshell. They've provided us with training for free during this period. So it's been offered to all of our franchisees and our teams, actually, via our We Love training site. Really helpful, relevant training to kind of upskill our teams whilst they're at home and not walking or pet sitting. They've kind of helped to translate the government guidance and support into English for us, because you know, it's all there and we can all go and look at it ourselves, but actually they've just made it relevant and easy, and it was always there, kind of in a timely way. They've helped us with a plan and checklist for opportunities, and I think it was called a Recovery and Thrive checklist. So everything from training your team and looking at their learning and development plans and how to kind of keep them engaged, keeping in touch with them, setting up competitions and quizzes to, you know, keep in touch, to making sure that we keep our current customers, and keeping, you know, maintaining relationships with them and showing that we care, I suppose, because that's really important. We Love Pets does care, and to then looking at opportunities for getting new customers in. So we can't just rely now on our current customers, hopefully, our current customers coming back. A lot of them are still working from home or don't necessarily need us. Although we are back walking and offering services to everybody, some people just, are at home and don't need us at the moment. So it's kind of encouraging those current people to come back, get their dogs socialised and into a good routine, but also looking at who we can target that might need us now, that hasn't been using us. And really just kind of getting our business into shape. So it's all stuff we know we should do, but it was kind of a bit of guidance and motivation, I suppose, to look at our profitability, because actually we've got time to do it at the moment. And yeah, why not kind of go through the business with a fine-tooth comb and look at all the different aspects of it and see if you're running it in the most effective way. So yeah, it was just amazing and continues to be, in terms of just that drive and ongoing support throughout a really difficult period. And yeah, I see a lot of the local dog walkers on their social media and on various kind of groups and things, and it's been really tough for them, but not quite so tough for us. And it's really nice just to be part of that organisation where you do have the support and help that you need, really.
Yeah, and you mentioned to me earlier when we spoke that whether they did it consciously, but they have always been really positive. Like, all the messaging to you guys has always been really positive, really motivational, which I think is brilliant. It's a big struggle, obviously, when you're going through something like that, and the panic of what's going to happen in the future and stuff. So to have the support of a brand like that is fantastic, just to keep you going really every day. It's hard, so that's amazing.
And I think I mean, we've all heard it a lot recently, the kind of the words, we're all in this together, and we're gonna but I felt like we have been, and everyone's going through a difficult time at the moment in one way or another, and we can start to see slowly kind of things are lifting a little bit, and we've started up dog walks again, and it's nice to it's exciting to kind of see things building up again. But yeah, it's definitely been nice to have felt like we have been kind of all doing it together and working through it as a team. Yeah, it's been great.
So I've got a few more questions to ask you, but if anybody's watching and you guys have any questions for Tracey, please feel free to pop them on the Facebook page and the EWiF Facebook page, and I'll have a quick look in a minute and see if there's any for you, Tracey, from the people watching. So obviously, talking about sort of then coming out of starting to come out of this sort of situation and lockdown slightly easing, what do you think, what's in store for you guys in the future? What are your plans? What do you think you guys will be doing in the next sort of year to really push back out there again?
I think certainly, like I said, we're looking at who else can we target that we haven't targeted before, especially right now. Are there people with, I don't know, children who haven't gone back to school yet, who didn't have a dog walker before, or are there people working in the front line who haven't quite got around to booking their dog walks, but actually their dogs are home for 12 hours in a day? So it's right now, I suppose it's focusing on all of that and building up some new business. And the head office has been great, and the marketing team have been great in providing all the kind of assets and social assets that we need, promotional vouchers and things like that to get out and target them. And I feel kind of in a nice place, because we've been encouraged to focus so much on are our businesses in good health, and are we doing all, have we looked at the profitability of our businesses? Can we do things differently? And because I've kind of made a lot of those changes, kind of ready to come out of lockdown in this, this period. It's exciting because, I can build on that now, and I know that my teams are ready for that because I've been kind of engaged with them the whole time. I had quite a good year of growth over the last year up until kind of the end of March, and my focus will really be getting back to that point and growing, continuing to grow at that level. I think towards the end of this year we'll kind of be looking at, our current customers will hopefully all be back, but we'll have built a nice base of new ones, I suppose, as well, to complement that. So it's just building on all that, I think, really.
I think there's been a lot of people that have actually taken on pets, haven't there, through COVID?
Yeah, exactly. That's another opportunity. I actually know lots of people, lots of my friends have got lockdown puppies, as I call them. So yeah, it's targeting all those, and offering offering our puppy care to them. Getting them into a nice routine and socializing them, and also offering our kind of advice. So it's really about showing that we're experts in the field and we can educate people as well, not just offer our services, but it's sharing our blogs and our news and that kind of thing, and really getting out there that way.
Like sort of educational type pieces as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So this is going to be a bit of a random question, but
okay.
I know obviously you guys, it's not just dogs that you guys look after, it's all sorts of pets. So have you had any unusual pets that you guys have had to look after?
Well, I know across the network there's probably been lots of unusual ones. I suppose the most unusual that I've had I had one job that had some cockatoos, 3 cockatoos, a praying mantis, a couple of reptiles, and then 5 dogs, all in one job. It was a house sit. So that was, I suppose, my most unusual. But in the whole scheme of pets, they're not that unusual. Had a couple of snakes as well. But yeah, we mostly kind of dogs, cats, and small furries are the most regular ones. But we'll look after anything.
I was just interested to see. Okay, let me take a look at Facebook then and just see if we have had any questions come in for you. So let's have a quick look. Okay, cool. So we have one from Lucy Platt. She says, hey, are your teams self-employed or employed, and have they had financial support from the government or head office / yourself, Tracy?
Good question. Most of my team are employed. I have a boarder who's self-employed, but the rest of the team are all employed. What was the question? Sorry, should pay attention.
Self-employed, and then have they had any financial support from the government or from head office?
My team who aren't walking just yet because we're kind of not back to our full capacity are on furlough leave. So yes, they've had support from the government in that way.
Right, okay. And then we've got one from Sean Goldsmith. Hi Sean. What would you say to anyone thinking about starting their own business versus investing in a franchise? Good question.
Well, I mean, it's some of the stuff we've covered already, isn't it? I absolutely recommend, the kind of way I've gone about it, I suppose, owning a franchise, just because there's the level of support, I suppose, was the thing for me. And if you feel that would really be of benefit to you, and to be part of an established brand where that people already know the organisation, and your kind of leads are going to come a bit quicker, I suppose, in terms of building a customer base. There's so many benefits of being part of that organisation, that versus setting up on your own. I absolutely recommend it.
So, okay, last question then from me. If there's a lady sat watching this at home, thinking, you know, I do want to make a change in my life, might look into franchising, what advice would you give her? What sort of next steps would you give her?
Good question. So I suppose it's, if you don't really know what kind of business you'd be looking at, then I guess have a look at your skill set. Have a think about what you love, because I really do believe that you know, life's too short, and you know, you really need to do what you love. Yeah. And yeah, just kind of have a look at what's out there. Have a look at the history of the franchises that you're researching. Talk to, you know, if there's some that you look looking really seriously at, talk to the franchisors, find out what they're all about, ask about the future of the company. If you get far enough down the line, definitely talk to franchisees in the network to understand how they are and how they feel about, you know, their journeys. But yeah, I just feel like work-life balance wise, and in terms of, if you're, you know, kind of, if you, especially if you have a family, or you're thinking about becoming your own boss, yeah, definitely get in and start looking at it.
Brilliant. Oh, thank you so much, Tracey. Thank you for stepping in the last minute as well, and sharing your time. I really enjoyed chatting to you. And then thank you to everybody who is watching. And as we were just saying, if you are sat there thinking you would like to make a change like Tracey did, then I really would urge you to take the first step and just find out a little bit more about franchising. You can contact us at EWiF. We'd be really delighted to talk to you about it a little bit more. So yeah, thank you again, Tracey, and have a great rest of your evening, everybody. See you all.
Bye.
Bye.